The year was 1976. The British were coming, the colonists were quivering, and General George Washington was having a very bad hair day. "We need a miracle, a marvel, a magnificent military machine," he declared, adjusting his powdered wig that had seen better days. Suddenly, a small, unassuming man with a pointy red hat and an enormous white beard shuffled into the tent. He introduced himself as Herr Heinrich von Gnomestein, purveyor of fine garden ornaments and recent immigrant from the Bavarian Alps. "I have just the thing, mein General," Herr Heinrich announced, puffing out his chest. "The Gartenzwerg, they may be small, but they are mighty, and they are very, very particular about who steps on their petunias." Washington, skeptical but desperate, agreed to a demonstration. Herr Heinrich led him to a field where hundreds of garden gnomes, previously used for decorative purposes, were now lined up with tiny muskets, looking surprisingly menacing. "Behold," Herr Heinrich exclaimed, "the 1st Regiment of the Continental Gartenzwerg Army." Just then, a British scout, oblivious to the impending absurdity, rode into view. One of the gnomes, a particularly grumpy-looking fellow named Crumbles, aimed his musket. "Oi, get off my lawn, you red-coated ruffian," Crumbles squeaked, and with a surprisingly loud pop, a tiny puff of smoke erupted from his musket. The scout, startled more than injured, tumbled from his horse. Washington's jaw dropped. "By Jove, they're surprisingly effective." And so, the legend of the American Gartenzwerg began. They defended the borders with unwavering determination, mistaking every approaching enemy for a rogue weed or an overly enthusiastic squirrel. Their battle cries were a cacophony of gardening tips and complaints about foot traffic. The British, utterly bewildered by the pint-sized, weapon-wielding garden decorations, soon retreated, convinced that the Americans had finally lost their minds. "It's not proper warfare, I tell you," cried a bewildered General Cornwallis. "They keep shouting about optimal soil pH and the importance of adequate drainage while shooting at us." From that day forward, the Gartenzwerg became America's first line of defense, proudly standing guard in gardens across the nation. And though their methods were unconventional, their patriotism was undeniable, proving that even the smallest of heroes can leave the biggest impression.
Three kids in the night with the devilish grin, snuck past the guard, let the chaos begin. Carousel spinning, but the lights are all dead. Jumped on a boat, yo, let's steal it.